Hello everyone, I thank you for joining me today on another video from Heather Travels. And today's video I'm going to talk about how I saved money on our current Walt Disney World trip that we are on right now when you are watching this video, if you watched it right when it came out. And a couple things I want to tell you about this trip. I mentioned in my last video where I announced the trip, I'll put a link to it up here if I can, that we had to wait for our tax refund for this trip. My tax refund, which is probably the case for many of you this year under the new tax law, our tax refund was down considerably, and I'm not sure how much of that was because of the new tax law and how much of it was because this is the first year that I stopped claiming my oldest son Andrew, who's 22 years old, as a dependent. So some of it might have been from that. And then the other thing might have been my income was actually down a little bit from the year before. So some of that might have come into play too, but it was considerably down from what it was in 2018 or whatever. We had less money to work with this year. So what I ended up deciding to do was I decided to use my state tax refund, which was also decent, to use for bills. I used that completely for paying off bills that were, that I needed to catch up on, or some upcoming bills that I knew that I had to take care of. So I used my state tax refund for bills. I am using my federal refund completely for our trip to Disney World. And so I was basically committing myself to keeping our trip to that amount, okay? With one exception. I did use my own pay. It was half of one paycheck to buy our plane tickets. So, but the whole rest of the trip, hotel, dining, and tickets, I wanted to keep to the amount that my tax refund was. So that's what I was working with. And I tailored our vacation plans so that it fit within that amount. That was my goal, and I have achieved it. So, but I had to be pretty creative. And I'll tell you what I did. So, sorry, I'm a little scratchy this morning. Okay, first on flights. How did I save money on our flights? A couple different ways. One, since I was just using my regular pay, I wasn't really committed to a time frame there. I knew when we wanted to go. There were a couple things I did. The first thing was I was watching on Kayak, the little flight predictor that I talked about in my booking flights video, and I think I even showed you a screenshot of it. Up on the top left corner on the Kayak page, when you search for a flight, it will tell you a fare prediction, whether you should wait because the prices are probably going to go down, or buy now because the prices are good and they're probably not going to get any better. And so I basically bought them when it was a buy now. I had seen them higher, and when I bought them, they were lower than I had seen them previously, so I got them at a lower price. The other thing I did was I changed when I was going to go, the day of the week I was going to go. And I think I talked about that in how to save, I'm not sure if I did. I think I did in my how to save money on your vacation. I'll put a link to that video up there. And some of those same tips I talk about in that video is what I'm talking about right now. By flying midweek instead of on the weekends, it changes the price considerably. And any airline website or airline price search website is going to give you the option. What you're looking for is the little thing that says flexible dates. And it's usually kind of like a box you can check or something you can click on that's for flexible dates. And then it will give you a grid showing you, a 6-day window on either side or whatever of the dates that you're looking at in like a grid. So, okay, if I leave on Friday and I come back on Saturday, a week later, it'll be this much per ticket. Oh, but if I leave on Thursday and then it's only this much. Or if I move it over Saturday, it's higher. And it shows you all the price, and you can actually find which days should I fly to get the cheapest price. So if you can be a little bit flexible on your days, which I was, you can get a better airfare, which I did. So by changing, because originally I was looking at like Saturday to Saturday or Saturday to Sunday or Friday to Saturday or something like that, because that's when our actual spring break actually is, so that the kids wouldn't miss school. But it was a lot more expensive to fly on the weekends. And so by changing it, I changed it to Thursday, I saved considerable amount of money. Okay. The other thing with my flights was, and I told Delta this when I called, I wanted to keep the total airfare for all three of us to less than $1,000. The reason for that is I did not want to put the plane tickets on a credit card and pay interest on them. I wanted to buy the plane tickets with my debit card and basically just pay for it right out of my checking. But my bank has a $1,000 daily spending limit on our debit cards. Now you can call the bank and ask them to give you like a one-time for that day exception and they'll raise it. But I was actually, the day I was calling and booking the flights was a Saturday, so that wasn't really an option because the bank was closed. And in reality, I didn't want it to pay higher than that anyway. So I wanted to keep my airfare, total airfare, to less than $1,000. I ended up spending $820 something for all three of our tickets. Now you're saying, whoa, that's really cheap. Because it was only like, it was between $200 and $300, but it was weird. Megan's ended up being $366.60. Mine ended up being $220 something, and Ben's was $255.20, I think. And so in total, like Ben's and mine, I know came total for his and mine, which actually got booked together, and I'll explain why in a minute, was $494, and Megan's was $366. So in total, it was $800 and whatever that adds up to. But the reason that Ben's and I were lower is Ben and I had credit from a previously canceled flight on a trip that I had booked previously that we didn't end up taking. So when you cancel a flight on Delta, you have up to a year to rebook using that credit. And then there's a $200 change fee if it wasn't for a medical reason, which it wasn't in our case. So they do the math for you. But basically Ben and I got, it was between one of us, it was like $111 off, and one of us, it was like $138 or something off the fare. So we used that credit, which is why I was flying with Delta, because I had that credit and I needed to use it by March 30th. So, or we were going to lose it. So that's how I got the airfare price that I did. And I'm on nonstop Delta flights in both directions. Oh, the other way I got it cheaper, the time of day makes a difference. And when you go on Delta, I don't know about other airlines, but on Delta, it will actually show you best, cheapest, and fastest. It'll have a little tab in the corner by all your time choices. Because not only was I looking for the day of the week and I was looking for nonstop, I also was looking for the cheapest on that day, because there is fare variation for the same route within the day. If you fly early in the morning or late in the evening, and even cheaper is if you fly the red eye, so you leave at night and you're actually like asleep on the plane, that's the cheapest. It's going to be cheaper, and that's what I did. Going down, we are leaving at 7 in the morning. So because of that, we're going to have to go up and stay in a hotel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, wait a second. Now you're spending money on the hotel. Yeah, I am. I'm spending money on the hotel now in the cities. That probably erases or washes out the savings I got on the airfare. Probably does. But I also wanted to leave early in the morning because I wanted to have that extra time at Disney World. So I'm okay with it. But it gave me a better fare for flying early in the morning and coming back. We're leaving at like 9 something at night. We get back like at almost midnight. And so that fare was the cheapest of the day as well. So the time of day makes a difference too. Okay, on lodging, how am I saving money? Basically, I'm saving money on lodging by booking at a value resort. We are staying at Pop Century. I talked in my last video about how I also considered not Art of Animation. I also considered All-Star Movies, but I was a little concerned because not all the rooms have been renovated yet. I didn't want to get stuck in a non-renovated room. So we went with Pop Century. I'm paying I tried to get the Gift of Magic offer, and actually there was even a better rate with the Gift of Magic offer with my Chase Disney Visa, but there's only a select number of rooms allotted at each resort for each of those special offers, and they were gone. So I did not get the Gift of Magic offer, but I still got a pretty good rate on our hotel. It changes depending on the night of the week, but it varies between $165 a night and $200 a night. So on the weekends. So I'm pretty content with that rate. So that's how I saved money there. I had originally considered and would have liked to stay at a moderate resort, but it was just too expensive. That would have bumped me over using my tax refund. I would have gotten too expensive. The only way we could have stayed at a moderate resort would have been if I had made the trip considerably shorter. And it was more important to me to have more days at Disney than it was to stay in the more expensive hotel. So that's a decision that you would have to make for yourself. That's how I saved on lodging. How did I save on tickets? I really debated on this one. I went back and forth, and I talked to Disney several times, and I really was trying to decide if I wanted to do a package and get the dining plan. I like the dining plan. I like it for the convenience. I like it for the not having to think about it. I like that it's on your Magic Band. I like that you're not like trying to figure out how much the stuff cost. I like that it's all paid in advance. But the more we looked at it, I really felt like we could eat cheaper than that. We will eat cheaper than what the dining plan costs. And so that's our goal. We're challenging ourselves to eat for less than the dining plan would have cost us. Now, I'm not going to stress about it, but I have some figures in my mind. I know how much the dining plan costs, what a table service restaurant should cost, what a quick service restaurant should cost, like a meal, what snacks should cost. And I don't think it'll be too difficult. Okay, we need to keep this table service meal for me, needs to be less than $49. Easy enough, okay? If it's more, then I know that I'm spending more than the dining plan would have cost me. So it's like $49 for at the current prices for a table service per person, $18 to $20 for a quick service. That one I think shouldn't be too much tough, and then like $5 to $6 for a snack. If you can keep those things less than that, then you're spending less than the dining plan. And the other thing about food, did I talk about tickets? No, I didn't talk about tickets yet. Food. Shoot, I got off track. Sorry. I was going to talk about tickets first. Oh, I was talking about the package. And okay. The other thing is I could get my tickets cheaper through Undercover Tourist. And I was pretty sure, but going back to the food, why I didn't get the package, that's what I was talking about. The other thing about food and not getting the packages, the current dining plan includes alcohol, and I don't drink. And obviously the 14-year-old and the 11-year-old don't drink alcohol. So why am I paying for something that includes alcohol when I'm not going to be consuming any alcohol? The other thing is we're basically vegetarians. We do eat some meat, but Megan and I, for the most part, prefer not to. And so the dining plan is kind of designed to maximize your spending, if you will, as if you were ordering, like you're really getting your best value on the dining plan if you're ordering the most expensive thing, which in most cases involves a giant hunk of meat. So since we're not going to be getting any meat or very little, our meals are probably going to be less expensive than they would be, if we were ordering steak and stuff. Does that make sense? So we really feel like we can eat cheaper than the dining plan would cost, and therefore by doing it in components instead of packaging it all together, getting a package does not save you any money. You don't, let me put it this way, you don't get a discount for booking as a package. You probably, if you're getting the room discount. When you get a room discount, you can either get it as a room-only reservation, which is what I have, or you're still going to get that room-only reservation with your package. But you're not saving anything on tickets. You're not really saving. They say you're saving on food, but again, it's only if you're spending that much, if you're eating stuff that costs that much. Is that okay? So I didn't get the dining plan. I got our tickets from Undercover Tourist, and as I talked about in my last video, Undercover Tourist is an authorized Disney ticket retailer. They are legit. You can get your tickets from Undercover Tourist. I ended up getting 8-day tickets, base tickets, not park hoppers, 8-day tickets for $167 less than I would have gotten them from Disney for all three of us. So that was a decent savings. I can link the tickets from Undercover Tourist to my Magic Bands. So it works just like if I'd bought the ticket from Disney. I just didn't spend as much. Yay. And then on food, I went back and forth between, I was thinking about buying Disney gift cards and paying for the food that way. And I was going to do it. I knew how much I want this much money for food. But the whole having to go to the desk, and this is just me being lazy. The whole having to go to the desk and pay down the thing every night so they don't put it on my credit card, and the whole having to don't lose the gift card and all that, I decided I just didn't want the stress. So I'm just gonna pay the amount I know that I'm gonna spend for food. I'm gonna pay it on my Chase Disney Visa. When you have a Chase Disney Visa, you get 10% off on all merchandise at Disney everything. I remember on our last Disney cruise, I had a little DV on my key card. And I saw that and I was like, there's another letter on there that's your muster station. And then I had this little DV and then it has you have all these letters on your card and you're like, what are all these letters? This one was your dining rotation, Triton, or for us it was Tiana's Place, Triton's, Animator's Palette. Look, I remember it now. I didn't remember it when I talked about it in that video. But anyway, that was our rotation. So we had letters for those restaurants. We had a letter for our muster station, and then I had a little DV. And I asked the guy at the gift shop when I was buying stuff on board, what's this? Because he looked at it. I got 10% off because I had a Chase Disney Visa. And my Chase Disney Visa was the card that was on file for my shipboard expenses. And it's also the card that I will be using to check into the hotel, to pay for the hotel, and to anything we charge to the room, I'm going to get the 10% off. Like if we buy souvenirs or a sweatshirt or whatever, I'm going to get a discount. So yay. So I probably, I think that's worth it, and it's worth the ease and convenience, and then I don't have to carry any form of payment with me in the park, which is really nice. So, something about, I was going to say about the Chase Disney Visa, or charging to the room. I forgot. Sorry. Okay, and then, so yeah, that's how I'm saving money on airfare, hotel, tickets, and food. And I will probably make a video after we come back and tell you how I did. Analyze it a little bit. Some other people have done that too, where they've analyzed how they did with or without the Disney dining plan. I know Morgan from Very Unofficial Travel Guides, on the trip he just took in November, they didn't do the dining plan either. And he said I asked him and he said he hasn't added it up yet at the time I'm making this video. And that he will probably let us know later. If you subscribe to his channel, how they did. He said Marcus wanted to do the dining plan again, which I kind of did too, but that they decided not to, and he's hoping that they spent less. So I'm kind of curious to see how they did too. So we'll see how we do. That's how I saved money on our Disney World vacation. And I hope those are some helpful tips to you, how you can save money too. There still was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was, but sorry. If I think of it, I'll put it in a future video. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope this video was helpful to you. And if you're planning an upcoming vacation to Disney World, some ways that you might be able to save money. And keep watching, because there's going to be lots more videos coming from our trip to Disney World. Safe travels, everyone.
We can make a wildfire getaway.